Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Founders Brewing Company out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. This beer is, I guess this is probably pretty much their flagship now. Centennial IPA would probably be the one that I would have called it before, but now I just see this all over the place. They have like pounders, stovepipes, whatever. A bunch of different formats of this beer. This is their all-day IPA. You can see there it just says session ale, so it's a session IPA. And it is 4.7 ABV at 42 IBUs. Excuse me. And yeah, that's it. I remember when Founders didn't used to distribute all across the country. They were kind of just in the Great Lakes area, and I remember like traveling to Ohio just to get them from Pittsburgh. And everyone, I think back then they made all day IPA, but they didn't package it, and everyone was like, "Oh, you got to package it! You got to package it! It's such a great thing." Because at that point in time, like hoppy beers generally, I mean, I guess there was pale ales, but session IPAs wasn't really a thing back then, and really now session IPAs versus pale ales aren't really any different anyways, but back then it was especially a big thing. So now it's interesting to just see it all over the place, see how this beer has progressed. I'm gonna crack it open and see what we got. I've definitely had this beer a bunch of times, but I've not had it in a while, and I'm glad I can give it a proper review. I don't know if any of you noticed, but this is my tank bender glass, which is for their, you can see right there, their 20th anniversary. So this isn't an all-day IPA glass, but it is a Founders glass. So you can see it pours a really nice dark golden color to almost an amber, but completely transparent. With a really nice fluffy white head. The aroma is earthy and citrusy hops. I do get a little bit of orangey character. But there also is some like floral character as well. And I do get like toasted malts, just a little bit of like caramely malt. It has a nice hot bite to it to prevent it from being like a malty beer. But for me, all it's doing is balancing the malt rather than it being like very hop forward, where I would really call it an IPA. To me, I mean, this is just a pretty standard, well-made, lower alcohol pale ale. You know, it is a little orangey, a little perfumey, which is nice. But it's not super hop forward, and really, it doesn't make sense. Like New England style pale ale or New England style session IPA to me are the same. Classic pale ale, classic American pale ale versus just session West Coast IPA, if that's a thing. To me, are the same. So this is really. Excuse me. I think it's well done. It is a good beer, but it's a pale ale. Excuse me. It's not very bitter. It's not super hop forward in flavor either. It's just enough to balance out the malts, which to me that's the point of the pale ale. It's supposed to be malty and hoppy, and have a perfect balance where you just want to keep drinking it, and that's really where this is. So it is a very nice beer. But calling an IPA, I think, is kind of silly. I am getting. It's making me think of like Amarillo and Centennial as far as the hops go. I don't know. But it is. Like I said, it's been a little while since I've had this. And I usually just. It's usually at like a cookout or something. Because I never buy this. Not that it's a bad beer, I just don't, for whatever reason, never buy it. So usually when I have it, someone else gives it to me at their house or something like that. And when I have it, I just drink it out of the can, whatever. But it really is. And I like the fact that it's a beer that you don't have to think about. It's just solid and, you can crush it all day type thing. That's why it's called All Day IPA. But it's really interesting to give it like a legitimate appraisal. Because to me, a lot of times the easy drinking beers like that, when I really, try to pick them apart, it ends up making me realize that I don't like it as much as I thought I did. But to me, this is kind of the opposite. I really appreciate that nice grapefruity, orangey, citrusy hop character it has. Really nice toasted malts. Balanced perfectly. I like the fact, and it drinks way bigger than it is. And that's not to say that it's boozy at all, because it's not. But I would guess that this was like a 6% pale ale. I would not guess this was in the in the fours. Which to me, that's even more impressive because a lot of times you get these session IPAs. They're pretty good, but they're so light in body that you can just they're basically almost watery. And this is not watery. This is very robust in flavor. It's just nice and soft and simple and balanced, but it's not flavorless at all. So on my scale of buy, drink, dump, I'm definitely going to give this a buy. And I think this is I'm trying to think. I think it's like $15 for a 12-pack. Which, by today's prices, I remember when you used to get a case of Two Hearted for $30, which is crazy, but by today's prices, that's actually really good. I understand it's not that strong on alcohol, but to me, that doesn't matter. I understand that plays into the cost of the beer, but still, I don't really care about that. I just matter if it's a beer that's appropriate to drink for what I want it for, and if it tastes good, and this is definitely fits both of those bills. And at less than $2 a can, I think this is definitely worth a buy. So, yeah, it's another good beer from Founders. They've had some turds as far as their barrel aged backwoods series or whatever it's called, but their general mainstay beers are usually pretty good, and this is an example of that. So I think that's all I got in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.